I've acquainted the twins with the city as best as I could in a short time. Their unbridled enthusiasm made it rather difficult. Invariably, something would catch their eye, spurred them to run down an alley to investigate. It was like herding a pair of unruly cows. I understand all too well. Charlie had the same effect on me. Right then, now it's time we saw the inside of the palace. Papa will want to know I'm home, and to meet the allies I've chosen. Given how impulsive he is, though, there's no telling what he might be in for. Estinian.
Estinian? When did he get here?
More to the point, why is he here?
Oh, you know this man? Whenever my father spots a promising opponent, he invites them to Sunperch to duel. Pressing duties or no, he can't resist a good fight.
So the one Estinian is crossing blades with.
That will do, Spearman. I will receive my darling daughter. Know that you are the strongest I fought in many a moon, if not longer. It is the privilege of a life long lived to face such a formidable soul.
If it's formidable you want, then look no further than that woman there.
I see you, warrior.
We had no idea you meant to visit Tuliyollal.
I've seen what lies east. This time I chose west.
And thus did our itinerant dragoon make his travel plans.
You witnessed our bout. If you thought he was fearsome, that was with one head dozing.
I'm not sure I understand.
The old man has been feeling his years. The uncovered side is the head of resolve, and age has only deepened his love for combat. But the head of reason, wiser of the two, sleeps more and more these days. As I understand it, the veil helps with the restoration of his magical energies.
Enough about me, Lamati. I want to hear of your adventures.
Lamachi.
A term of endearment. It's what my family calls me.
Oh. When last did we see you in the palace? Greetings, Solonesh.
It's Erenville now, Dawnservant. I took the name while abroad, and have since grown accustomed to it.
Erenville, then. And these others? I assume are Lamati's recruited allies. Ha! Old-tempered still. Yet as much as I'd enjoy testing their metal, the hour of the right is at hand. I will summon the other claimants at once.
Then I shall leave you to it. Good fortune, my friends.
There he is.
The claimants are assembled. The first promise, Zorolja. The second promise, Gona. The third promise, Uklamat. And lastly, the chosen of Mamuk, Bakul Jaja. You four will compete in the right of succession, the outcome of which will decide who takes my place as Dawnservant. I am not the man I once was. My wiser half sleeps the days away, and it is time I yield my position. But mine is a torch that has never been passed. Tuliyollal is young, and so I look to the always for inspiration. The right of succession, the means by which the autarch of Mamuk was chosen. Only the two-headed were deemed fit for this contest. But the Tuliyollal I built is a nation of many peoples. Our leader needn't have two heads, nor be a Mamulja at all. So I gave the right of claimant, not only to the son I sired, but to my adopted children as well. Yet the opportunity to rule was still not equal. That is why a recent tournament offered a place in the contest as the winning prize.
Now you have us to compete against. Though it seems the One-Head was already too afraid to face us in the tournament.
Our brother was in Shock Tural leading the Landsguard on a campaign to eradicate a Tural Vidral. Anyone with sense would know he was too busy for games.
Now for the part you've been waiting to hear. The nature of the contest itself. To triumph in the right of succession, and thereby claim our nation's throne, you must travel the lands of XIV and find the City of Gold.
If I may, Father.
Speak, Kona.
The Golden City is an ancient Turali legend, but after so many failed attempts to find it, the story has become more fairy tale than fact. If you would charge us with such a quest, are we then to assume you have proof of the city's existence?
I offer us proof, my unbroken word, for I have seen it with my own 4 eyes.
The city's real. All those years.
This was before the founding of Tuliyollal. I traveled the lands of Tural with my companions, and we ended our journey at the gates to the Golden City. I mean to have you do the same, but in order to achieve victory proper, you need to break the seal I put in place. Bring them.
The Tuliyollal saga.
You will retrace the path I walked to unite our peoples, step by step. Along the way, 7 chosen electors will be waiting to measure your worth. Earn their keystones by performing the feats they ask of you. Once you've fitted each of the 7 tablets with the keystone, you'll have the key to unlock the seal on the Golden City's gates.
So the contest is in stages, none of which can be skipped by rushing to the ultimate objective.
Exactly. Exciting, isn't it?
Martial tournaments, hunting festivals, and now this? You do so love your contests, Papa.
Were I a few years younger, I would have joined in myself, giving you a proper challenge. You may think the ride is tedious or nonsensical, or both, but I am yielding our nation's throne. Let me have this final indulgence.
A waste of time. Just name Bakunja as successor and be done with it.
The rite of succession begins now. I'll be watching you progress with great interest. And Clemens, remember to collect your tablets before you leave.
Cry wants to ask him now.
You are one of Lamachi's allies. Speak freely.
I am Cryle Baldessian, representative of the students of Baldessian. My name is perhaps familiar to you?
Ah.
It would seem you sent this letter to my orders some years ago. The ink has since faded and much of the writing is illegible. Even so, we managed to determine the essence of it. A request to investigate the Golden City, addressed to my grandfather, Galuf. Included with the correspondence was this earring. A fairy tale and a piece of jewelry were enough to convince my grandfather to sail halfway across the world. So there is surely some greater mystery at work here. On behalf of the students, I've come to seek clarification on the matter. Have you any knowledge you might share with me?
No, not at this time. I have tasked the claimants with finding the Golden City. To fulfill your request would afford one of them an unfair advantage in the right of succession. But once the contest is decided, I plan to entrust the entire truth to my successor. If you want to hear it, then you had best help Lamachi win.
Very well, Dawnservant. On my honor as a student of Baldessian, I will find your Golden City. Thank you for hearing my petition.
How about that? She's grown into a remarkable young woman. You should be proud, Galuf.
And he probably was.
Too late to change your mind now, I suppose. But are you sure you wish to be part of this?
What do you mean?
Our third promise is not wont to take no for an answer. Though you may have agreed to help, I worry that you were swept up in her relentless enthusiasm. Or perhaps you've been lured by the glory of the Golden City. Either way, this contest for the throne will place you and yours at the heart of political turmoil. If you are second-guessing your decision, tell me now. This may be my last chance to help you withdraw.
Life is a series of journeys, my friend. And there's no telling what awaits us on the long road. But what's important is to be true to yourself as you walk it. Only then can we hope to be content when we arrive at the end of one and step forward into another.
I want to see where this journey leads.
So you are committed to your path? I will speak no more of it then. As for my own involvement, I can no longer conduct myself as a mere guide, I think. Not after the Dawnservant's revelation.
Here they come! It's Zeralja! Such a fearsome mien. Make no mistake, there goes Tuliyollal's mightiest warrior.
First promise, our village needs aid. The cold weather stunts our crops, and the children of our village go hungry. Once you ascend the throne, I beg of you, grant my people new lands, please!
Zeralja. Take heart, tiller of the soil. The resilient son, blood heir to the Dawnservant, has heard your pleas.
And promised nothing.
Zeralja, the first promise and commander of the Landsguard. Zeralja, the palaceer. As he was so careful to remind the crowd, Zeralja is indeed the natural child of Gulul Jaja.
And Resilient Son, is that another title, like the first promise?
After a fashion. Common knowledge has it that two-headed Mamulja cannot sire children. Yet Zeralja was born all the same, with the head of Resolve's features and the head of Reason's scales. An extraordinary example of life's unyielding resilience.
And a warrior's reticence. He says little, but the way he moves... I know a hardened soldier when I see one.
He's a natural swordsman. A gift he inherited from his father. Some even say that the son has already surpassed the sire. Should he come to power, the first promise means to employ that martial prowess in the conquest of foreign lands. For this, he and his supporters have been labeled expansionists. This puts him in direct opposition to Wuklamat, who advocates for the preservation of peace. You may recall that she spoke of a claimant who cannot be allowed to rule. That is Zeralja, the warmonger.
Kryl, are you all right?
The echo. It gave me a glimpse into Zeralja's ambitions. Deep and unknowable, like an abyss. Yet at the same time, a roaring, unquenchable fire. It was a trifle terrifying, to be frank.
Second promise, you must bring us more marvelous conveniences. More dirigibles and trains and the like. We need you in charge to make trading easier.
The elders, they complain and complain about abandoning tradition. But we're not like them, afraid of everything foreign and new.
You have our wholehearted support. With your ingenuity and knowledge, you're sure to win the contest.
Forgive me, but the right of succession is barely begun. I will hear your petitions if and when I am named Dawnservant. If you will excuse me.
Plain spoken, as always.
That's Arcona. Practical to a fault.
Here we have Kona, the second promise, who spent time as a pupil at Charlian's own studium.
Now that you mention it, I think I did see him in the halls once or twice. There was nothing to suggest he was Turali, much less from a royal family.
That was by design. He forwent his usual garb and took an Eorzean name to avoid attention.
So it was Kona who introduced the dirigibles. And the railway too, given what we just heard.
In furtherance of his goal, to enrich Tuliyollal with every bright notion he learned of in Sharlayan. He is the hope of those who prize innovation. As aloof as he may seem, Kona and Wuklamat actually get along rather well. They bicker and banter as only close siblings do.
How gracious of you all to cheer the lesser claimants. Oh, come now. What are you afraid of? I'm no different from your Dawnservant. That my kind should reign is Mamulja tradition, and has been so since before there was a Tuliyollal. I'll brush aside your feeble contenders, and then you'll see who deserves your deity. Well said, brother.
The Mamulja finally found peace in Tuliyollal. A pity those fanatics are intent on keeping that tradition alive.
The chosen of Mamuk, Bakul Jaja, winner of the recent martial tournament, and the only claimant not of the Dawn's promise. His strength is undeniable, but you see how he is. A few devoted Mamulja are his only supporters.
What would he do with the throne should he win it?
His policies and so forth. I doubt he's thought much beyond winning the contest itself. But one thing seems certain. If he does become Dawnservant, he will see the Mamulja exalted as the ruling class, and all others forced into subservience.
Sounds like another that cannot be allowed to rule.
We wish for one thing and one thing only, Third Promise. To abide together in harmony with our neighbors whom we love in this land we share. It is our way, the Tuliyollal way.
Galul Jaja built for us this peaceful nation, and we beg you to preserve it.
You have my word. I won't let your pleas go unanswered.
Until Tuliyollal was founded some 80 years ago, this continent was ravaged by war. The eldest among us remember that dark era, and they are Wuklamat's most ardent supporters.
Apologies, it's hard to get away. This is Namika, my childhood nursemaid. She's been like a mother to me my whole life. I told her it wasn't necessary, but she insisted on seeing us off.
I place our precious Third Promise into your care. Did you know Wuklamat was taking part in the rite of succession?
Of the Dawn's Promise? I thought it was only Zoralja and Kona. If she has any accomplishments to her name,
I've yet to hear them.
Compared to the two Mamulja, she pales in martial prowess. And then there's Kona, who's far and away the most educated of the bunch. I hate to say it, but it's hardly a competition.
It's fine. More than anyone. I understand how much better my brothers are than me.
Better? Wuklamat. I have never thought of you as the lesser sibling. Your brothers may excel in their respective ways, but you boast qualities that both lack. A strength that is yours alone. Having cared for you for so long, I should know.
Yeah, she seems to be the people person among them. And sometimes that is the most important quality of all of it. You do not need to be the best warrior to lead an army, but you need to convince the people to follow you into that battle if necessary. For example. And you do not need to be the best scholar, but when you can get the scholars to work for you, right? I think of all the people, of all the claimants we have seen, Wuklamat seems to be the people person. We have a warrior, we have the two-headed extremist there, we have a scholar, and we have her who is the leader, basically. But she hasn't come into her own quite yet. This is a bit similar to Lee's story. Hopefully not quite as badly done as that was in Stormblood back then, because it wasn't done pretty well. But the theme seems similar to me.
Thank you, Namika. Well, we ought to be on our way.
Yes, hurry along. I await word of your victory with bated breath.
As you just witnessed, Wuklamat has no great army of supporters. Not yet, at least. I know not what drives Zoral Ja, but it engulfs him like an inferno. So Connor, the second promise, is intent of developing his country by means of Sharlayan innovation. Given his background, I suppose it should come as no surprise. The two-headed claimant Bakul Jaja treats everyone around him as lesser beings. No doubt he tried to elevate the Mamulja above other races should he become Dawnservant. Not unlike how the Garlean Empire afforded special status to pure-blood Garleans. Well, so much for a brief reunion. I didn't mind. Papa does not want to waste time when he decides to act. I'm used to it by now, of course, but others are often caught off guard. In any case, we should talk about how we are going to find the City of Gold. All we have to work with are the 7 tablets and their connection to the Tuliyollal saga. Might I suggest first comparing the tablets against the pillars? We should check for any discrepancies between them. Good idea. Let's go and take a look. I wasn't expecting events to progress that quickly, but I won't complain. The contest is the main reason we're here, after all. I won't give up until we find the Golden City, for Wuklamat as well as myself. The preparation of intricately carved tablets for every claim must have taken considerable effort and forethought. We should consider them weighty reminders that this contest is no light-hearted matter. At a glance, they seem much the same. That makes everyone. Buklamat, the tablets, if you would. Of course. Everyone has a tablet, then let's compare them to their respective pillars. Keep an eye out for even the smallest differences. Unless I'm missing something, the glyphs appear to be identical. The only difference being the tablets have hollows where the keystones are to be fitted. So now that we've established that the scenes are the same, where do we go from here? The Dawnservant said we were to retrace the path he walked in uniting Tuliyoll's people, but we would encounter 7 electors along the way. And we have the answer here in front of us. Papa's path is all laid out in the Tuliyollal saga. The events the glyphs portray, do we know the exact locations where they took place? If one is close, you could go there and search for an elector. That would confirm we're on the right track. Let me think. The Lay of Reeds was in the nearby Hanu settlement. Papa took me there once. It was during festival season, and the whole village was alive with good cheer. There also is the Lay of Gold. That one involved the Pelu village, which is about the same distance from here. Before going anywhere, we should ask around about the road ahead. I heard a lot of talk as we toured the city about that storm we passed through its year. Apparently it ravaged Yogg-Tural several days ago. Since our roads are not as well paved as the Orsias, they are more susceptible to damage from natural disasters. If we want to avoid wasting time taking a dead-end trail, I suggest we spend a few moments making inquiries. If it's information we need, just leave it to me. I'll bring the information to us. It would be prudent to ensure we're prepared for the journey. I'll guide you to the accommodations I have arranged. Buklamat said she would bring the information to us. I wonder what she meant by that. What a comfort to have our lodging sorted in advance. Oh, such lovely little cottages, and they're on the water. That's right, the reservations is under Buklamat's name. If you don't mind, I'll leave my companions to you. Certainly, sir. I'll go and track down the third promise. Once you've finished organizing your gear, you can meet us outside Shibalyev Tier. Whatever. Greetings, visitors to Tuliyollal, and welcome to the forward cabins. Whenever you're ready, I will show you to your rooms. Thank you. Give me a room. Sorry, but I need to fix my hair. It's glitching through the armor and it's irritating me. I once stood at the disheveled shell of a woman, but now shines a beauty reborn. Long hair just doesn't fit this armor, and I don't want to change it. Okay, wait here. Await your companions and embark on the rite of succession. Yeah. Trust you to be the keenest to head out this way. Whoop. But where are Aaron and Vukla, I wonder? Oh god, you're all here. Who might your companions be? Seeing as we needed information, I thought who better to get it from than the locals. These two hail from the villages we're thinking to visit. I give you credit for taking initiative at least. What do you mean at least? I'm honored that the third promise would seek my advice. I too am happy to answer your questions. Any encounter might be an opportunity to do business. Thank you both for your help. Before we begin, there will doubtless be other occasions where we need to act independently, so I brought these for the two of you. Link pulse? What's this? It's called a link pearl, a gemstone harvested from a special shell. When linked together, they allow people to communicate across great distances. Is that so? What a handy thing to have. It'll be very useful on our travels. Speaking of which, I should get back to introducing my two new friends here. Is there a reason the Pilipillu all wear those masks? The same as white dwarfs wore all beards? Who should we speak to first, do you think? Even up close, the Hanu are remarkably similar to the Vanu, aside from those brilliant feathers, of course. Vukla Mud may not be as experienced or accomplished as her brothers, but she has an affinity for the people. For her, finding those willing to cooperate is as simple as asking. What sort of luck to forge this connection to the palace? May it be the beginning of a profitable partnership. Please ask anything. I'll gladly tell you what I know. The Tuliyollal saga features a number of Tuar clans. Those two, the Hanu and the Pelopelo, have settlements relatively close to the city, so I brought a representative of each. As I mentioned before, the Hanu are cheerful people who love their festivals. They make their appearances in the Lay of Reeds, and their home village, Okanu, is located in Kozamauka. The other, smaller fellow is one of the Pelu, a kind of business-minded folk from Ukopasha. They appear in the Lay of Gold and craft all kinds of marvelous goods in Vachupelo, their village. Now, as for deciding which village to visit first, why don't you put that adventurous instinct of yours to work for us, Desiree? Pick our destination. The main scenario branches off in two quest paths. Accepting the quest from the helpful Hanu will temporarily prevent you from accepting the quest from the approachable Pelu, and vice versa. The second quest path will become available from the respective NPC once you have completed a series of quests from the first path. Furthermore, story elements and quest rewards will not be affected by your initial choice of path. Speak with the NPC you prefer and embark on the trail for the rite of succession. I do not want to start one of these two paths in the middle of the episode. And so I would end this here. Okay, until next time when we actually choose a path and see where it leads us. Yeah, until next time, I'm Mace and don't get lost.